you said, hey, you could set up each technician based on their strengths of what they're capable of handling, right? And just say, John is great at HVAC, so we're gonna put that in John's profile, and then he is going to be one of the technicians that are allowed to receive. I'm thinking about I'll say not the old ways, because it's still like the current way of doing things for most of the industry, to where a service manager has to either like print and go through those service requests and see what's what, and distribute them to the techs based on their ability, right? Their abilities of completing those particular work orders. Or best case scenario, they're using an app, and then on an app they are to like assign them to particular tasks. Do you mean to tell me that I could just set up profiles with like what they're great at, and your application will like do that for me as a service manager, that I don't have to actually spend the time in it?
Oh yeah, it will. And to take it even one step further, we're actually using AI to do that. And so it's one of the ways that we use AI in a more unique way within AppWork than what I think has been traditionally thought of as AI use in our industry. And so the AI actually analyzes not only the skill sets in the profiles that you have control of as as a supervisor to set up for your team, but it also looks at how many work orders have been assigned to that particular technician. So we're load balancing so that there's not one technician receiving, 20 work orders and one has 5. We're making sure that there's some balance there. We're also looking at aspects of work order priority. So is an emergency versus a regular work order. We're looking at completion times of the technician to take that into account. So the AI is looking at a lot of different aspects and more efficiently assigning the work orders versus a supervisor just going through and trying to just kind of think through or every other type of assignment. We're actually looking at the data and assigning appropriately.
So you're talking about close to 300 data points, that some of them I had to do them on a calculator. Like I literally had to calculate that number. There was not a way for me to just automatically like build a form. Well, probably there was a formula. I wasn't too great with Excel. Let's just be honest. But then, but in all reality,
Which
300
why
data
would
points.
you be, right, Adrian? Your background was coming up through the ranks of maintenance. Why would you have been trained on Excel early on in your career? You wouldn't have been. So why are we asking you to do that without the help of other technology or at least training, right? On how to use those things. I mean, you're talking about with the numbers you just shared, you're talking about 15,000 data points a year that you have to calculate, oftentimes manually with a calculator. I mean, if it takes you even 40, 50 seconds, even a minute per data point, I mean, think about all of that time. I mean, if we're talking, that's 200, potentially 250 hours. Now, probably a little less than that, but that's a lot. That's a lot of time. One of the big tenets of the development of AppWork was a focus on data and data points and providing that relevant information that operators need to efficiently manage a property. Like you said, and if you've ever met Sean, our CEO and our co-founder, like he can talk about this for days, but one of the things that was painful to him is that at any given time, he could go in and he could find all of these stats and all of this information about his leasing agents and his leasing team, and he could tell you exactly how they are performing. And he had zero visibility into maintenance technicians, and they make up 50% of your team. And honestly, such a huge part of the operations of the property. They're the people that are actually interacting with your residents the most on the property, and there's no insight into how they're doing that or how they're performing. And so AppWork was really born out of that need to have an understanding of how are teams actually interacting. And he discovered when they were building is everything started to track back to maintenance, whether it be occupancy issues, whether it be resident satisfaction scores, turnover times. I mean, everything was tracked back to maintenance. And so without the data on the individual technician performance, you had no way of solving for training issues, understanding retention issues, looking to see who his top performers are and giving them the adequate recognition that they should be getting. He went to his technician that was going to be the hardest to convince. He actually told him, Sean, I'm never going to use this. I hate technology. This is never going to work. I'm never going to use this. And his goal was to build a product that he would use that you could convince the most tech like inept person that was so against everything to use it and get excited about it. And that was their goal from day one at AppWork, is get everyone to use it. And they did it. I mean, the technician that had said, he was there, was about to retire. He said he never used technology. He loved AppWork before he retired. He used it every day, and he was excited about the gamification. And he was a convert. And part of that is because he gave feedback. He was our strongest critical technician, and the feedback that he gave was completely like so valuable to how we develop the technology, because if we can develop something that he will use, anyone's going to use it. There's a real synergy of the team. We have a fantastic talented team here. We're split across different areas of the world, so we've got people all over the US but also all over the world. And the way that we work together and the way that we're able to kind of come together, even with the challenges of being so remote from each other and having different time zones and such, is just something that I haven't really seen before. Everyone's super smart, very specialized in what they do. And we're all so focused on bringing solutions to the multifamily industry that really impact the day to day of our users. Just how ChatGPT is starting to become like a search engine for everything, pretty much. Like it's starting to replace, and you even see this on Google. Google uses its AI now to summarize search results. So instead of having to go through and do the research yourself, you're able to get those summaries right at the top. And that's how people use ChatGPT as well, in addition to writing things for them or polishing different documents. They're using it as search, and that's something that I think we at AppWork see as a step in innovation. Right? Is how can we make AppWork be communicative with teams, and all they have to do is go ask it a question, and it's going to spit out what they need, instead of you having to go in and add the filters to the reporting. Can we just allow you to ask AppWork a question, and we just deliver the reports that you need with just one question? So that's definitely something that we see as potential future for AI, which I'm very excited about. Think about how much time that'll save. But I also think that it's important to note that we're talking about where we want to be in a couple of years with AI and maintenance technology. But there are so many companies out there that aren't even like where we are now, right? So many people that I talk to are still using pen and paper to run their work orders. And we've already talked a little bit about how much can get lost in the shuffle when you are using pen and paper, and how little you're taking advantage of efficiencies.